Welcome to episode 26 of Bleach Revisited, the series in which, of course, we revisit the Bleach manga. I am Karakura Gold, your host through this rereading of all of the Bleach manga, where we read the chapters, analyze the art and the narrative, kind of respond to it, and then talk about how it connects to the rest of the manga. This is the beginning of Volume 4. In the previous video, I think I had referred to the previous volume as 4. That was incorrect. This is Volume 4. I think I had just read that this would be continued in Volume 4, and for whatever reason my brain was like, oh yeah, Volume 4, that's the one we're on. But no, the last volume, Memories in the Rain, was Volume 3, with Orihime on the cover. This is Volume 4, Quincy Archer Hates You, with Ishida Uryu on the cover. New character who we have not seen yet in Bleach. So, as always, these videos are divided into parts. If the other parts interest you more than any given element, such as the reading, the analysis and response, or the foreshadowing, feel free to hop around in the video at your leisure. But otherwise, let us begin with Volume 4 of Bleach, a Shonen Jump manga with story and art by Ch.26. And always, we start with the author's foreword. Writer and friend busy moving. The winter is in the air. Or the writer is in the air. Anyway, I moved. My phone number changed. It's a very good phone number. It's super easy to remember. It's the best phone number. But for some strange reason, I get wrong numbers a lot. One I was especially surprised by was, is this the... I cannot reveal the name of the country. Embassy? And a phone call from a foreigner going off on me, speaking really fast in Russian, I think. Well, it's funny, so I don't really mind. Ch.26. Bleach is author Ch.26's second title. Kuba made his debut with Zombie Powder, a 4-volume series in Weekly Shonen Jump. To date, Bleach has sold nearly 7 million volumes and has been translated into 7 different languages. Beginning its serialization in 2001, Bleach is still a mainstay in the pages of Weekly Shonen Jump. We are drawn to each other like drops of water, like the planets. We repulse each other like magnets, like the colors of our skin. Bleach, Volume 4. Quincy Archer Hates You. So here are the stars and Bleach All Stars and stories. I always read that weird because it's laid out, that way. Anyway, we have Orihime Inoue, Rukia Kuchiki, Ichigo Kurosaki, Don Kanoji, the Mod Soul, Khan, and Tatsuki Arasawa. The plot is that Ichigo Kurosaki, 15 years old, except for being able to see ghosts, he is an ordinary high school student. But when he encounters Soul Reaper Rukia Kuchiki, his life takes a dramatic turn. Because of his strong spiritual powers and a good heart, Ichigo decides to help Rukia with her job as a Soul Reaper. A Soul Reaper cleanses lost souls called Hollows and guides them to the Soul Society. Ichigo gets used to this bizarre new job and eventually encounters the Hollow that killed his mother. Despite Ichigo's best efforts, the wicked Hollow gets away, leaving Ichigo painfully aware of his shortcomings and determined to get stronger. But... Bleach, Volume 4, Quincy Archer Hates You. Bleach, Chapter 26, Paradise is Nowhere. My name is Khan, shortened to K-O-N, King of New York. Not really. Lately, this lone wolf spends his busy days taking care of a brainless, orange-haired, simply-minded, violent, worthless high school student, Soul Reaper, and my savior, my beautiful, raven-haired, disempowered goddess, all by myself. I maybe look like a stuffed animal, but I have the heart of a wolf. That's what I mean. Actually, at the moment, I find myself. I'm in dire straits. Wow. This one dirty Teddy thing. I wonder. You may wonder how I got into this mess. Is it Karen's? My sad tale begins earlier in the day. Ready? Bleach. Ch.26. Paradise is nowhere. This morning, Sunday, 10:05 a.m., the Kurosaki residence. Ichigo's room. Ah! Hey! What in the Soul Society do you think you're doing? Guess. You're a disgusting little germ farm. I'm knocking the dirt out of you. It's not like this happens to me every day. There's other ways to clean me, you know. You don't have to knock the stuffing out of me to clean me, but But Head, you heartless! Are you listening to me? Help! Ichigo, stop. I've got the proper equipment for cleaning him. Oh, Rukia, I knew you'd come. You're always so brutal. Oh. Wait. What? Isn't that the school bathroom's broom? Where do you get that? From school? Take it back right now. I didn't know you were so square. I'm not. It's just common sense. Hey, don't put that on my floor. That's gross. Oh, brother. Darn it. Why do they treat me like this? I'm a part of their crew, aren't I? I'm just as good as they are. That does it. I'm going to hit the road. I'm going to search until I find her. That's someone, special someone who will love and cherish me and give me a warm place where I truly belong. So, it seemed like a good idea when I was all worked up, but what now? I'm penniless. Can't even afford a train ticket. I won't get very far like this. Hey! Yeah! Come on, Tatsuki, give it to me! That's Orihime! Target number 1. Orihime Inoue. Yes! I'll play the innocent stuffed animal that just happens to be lying in the ground in front of her. She's got the heart of the Virgin Mary, so she's bound to pick me up and hug me and nestle me in the Valley of Paradise. And then I'll be, what? Dragon Bazooka! Name of shot. Ah! Yes! I scored first! Orihime, in this baseball soccer combo of yours you called Yaka, the defending team is at a huge disadvantage. So, don't crack open the champagne just because you got 1-run goal. Really? Ugh. Darn. I forgot to take Orihime's brain into account. What luck. Toppled by a bizarre game born of her subconscious malice. What a disgrace. There. From Ichigo's class. Girls! Names of the small bosomed won't stick. Target number 2. 1 of 3 girls. Ryo Kunieda, Michiru Ogawa, and Chizuru Hansho. Actually, you're kind of my type too, Michiru. Care to get a room with me? No. That's the sorriest pickup line you've used all day. I'd prefer to walk alone. Look at me. I'm irresistible. Even a boy couldn't pass me up. Come on, pick me up, and take me back to your home and say something like, "Oh, you're so dirty," and we'll take a bath together. Hey, cute stuff. What a cute stuff. What a filthy stuffed animal. Ugh. Oh no. Her ruthless assault was so sudden I accidentally made a sound. Oh, do they suspect? They're staring at me. Did that toy just scream? A talking stuffed animal. Let's capture it and sell it on a TV station. Hey, it's running away. You won't get away. Come on, Michiru. But, huh? Leave this to me. thinks he can outrun us, does he? Not Rio Cuneda, freshman track star. I run the 100 meter in 12 seconds flat. No! Darn. Why have all Ichigo's friends out of their flippin' minds? I just want to be loved. Target 3, Chad. Unintentional. Loves cute things. Why is he chasing me? Oh, forget this. I'm going home. Straight home. Oh, man, please, let me get home alive. And so, I lost them somehow, but I couldn't bring myself to go back to Ichigo's room. So I reluctantly sneaked into a different room and collapsed and lost consciousness. And so, I ended up like this. Aw, do what you want with me. I give up. Make me into a pincushion or cleaning rag, whatever you want. Okay, actually, maybe not a cleaning rag. Boy, you sure are dirty. Let's take a bath together. Huh? So warm. That's it. This is the nurturing I've longed for. My savior was here, all along. If only she were a little older, a little more stacked. No, what am I saying? Oh, you don't want to be naked, do you? I just bought a doll, and I made these clothes for it. Wow, you look great in that outfit. No, are you nuts? I look stupid. And you look so happy there between Mommy and Daddy. Mommy and Daddy, these freaks. Which one's Mommy? And why am I wearing clothes whenever my parents are buck naked? Now, do what Melon and Cookie tell you. Melon and Cookie, give me a break. Okay, Bostov? Why do I get stuck with the ugly name? And because you're a baby, you'll need this. Instant death adhesive. Oh, hold on. Where do you get that? What are you glued on me? Ah! An audible scream. Ah! Ichigo! What the? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I ran away. I realize now that I like your room the best. He ran away from home, huh? What's with the outfit? Did he get in some weird scene while I was gone? What's all the commotion? Huh, so warm. Ruki and Ichigo are probably just repressed. They just have a hard time expressing the love they feel for me. Maybe it'll come off if I yank really hard. No, but his ear will. No! Probably. Where's Bustov? The next morning. That's it for chapter 25 of Bleach, or chapter 26, actually. Getting crossed up yet again as we start volume 4. This one's actually volume 4, folks. But this is the beginning of volume 4. We get, I think properly, there's not a ton to kind of speak on, but I think all in all, what's really happening here is we're coming off of a pretty intense kind of personal battle for Ichigo, right? He has this entire we just got done with what was a very like a whole volume spanning, and whenever I talk about Bleach being written for the volume format, this is what I'm talking about, where we had a whole volume that was just dedicated towards Ichigo's personal struggle with this hollow Grand Fisher, and it got into these very kind of emotional and extreme kind of moments, both physically as well as emotionally, right. So there's a lot of trauma there. There's a lot of combat, a lot of action, and so this is like a palate cleanser of sorts. This is to set us back in universe and to remind us of all these other characters, right? To bring us back with a bit of levity to kind of ground us into where we're going to be going with this next story. So we're back in the world of the living. We're back with Cone here. I like that we get a lot of stuff from his perspective. So, he's hanging upside down, but we can't really tell that. We get this joke that he's king of New York, but really it's Kanpaku, right? It's short for the modified Kanpaku, the mod soul, right? But King of New York would actually show up in the first intro asterisk. So, that does show up there, which is pretty cute. And every time I think about Khan, I do think King of New York, right? that's him. Anyway, it's a weird nickname. But here we get Yuzu, who's holding him up, and a lot of this, a lot of cleanness to a lot of this art. I like it a lot. Um, Even if it is just fairly mundane kind of stuff. One of my friends told me the way that he remembers Yuzu apart from Karen is that she has the lighter colored hair because you think of the Yuzu fruit is the way he does, and I guess she is associated with a lot of different fruits. She's always got like a kind of a fruit hairpin going on here, right? Anyway, but I like that she's cleaning, so of course she comes across Khan. As we know, she takes up a lot of the household duties in lieu of her mother, and so she's got that really kind of whenever I say maternal, I mean like that kind of gendered idea of a housekeeper, right? She's very much the one that makes dinner and cleans and cooks, makes dinner and cooks. Important things, right? But no, I mean, she's taking care of all this. She wonders if this is Karen's doll. And then, I like that we have this like upside downness. We get this idea of Khan being really mixed up with things in the way that he's, that's portrayed. This is great. Chapter title is we get Khan with this cape and imagining himself as this, perhaps this Alexander the Great kind of figure going off and questing. But yeah, the paradise is nowhere. Because ultimately, this whole chapter is about Khan trying to find somewhere where he belongs, only to realize that it's at Rukia and Ichigo's side, of course. But in a lot of ways, what the chapter is really about is reintroducing us to all these other characters, setting up, giving us a breather while grounding us back in the everyday setting that we are here in Bleach. So I like that Ichigo's kind of cleaning him by whapping him across the side of the house. I mean, he's got soaked to the bone, right? And then Ruki is gonna just like how even Ichigo's freaking out at that. Just good gags, good third page gags, especially. We expect Ruki is gonna have like a nicer kind of cleaning method, but here she is just with this school like mop or broom or whatever. The bathroom broom. I love that this exchange too, where he's just like, yeah, I got it from school, and he's just like, well, you gotta take it back. It's all good stuff. And their argument kind of falls in the background as Khan really resents the fact that he's like this kind of lesser figure, right? And I mean, like we can read this a lot as like comedy beats. Obviously, there's a lot here, but I think the idea of and this is worth addressing, especially in shonen manga, the idea of character um, identity being really tied up into like being just as good as other characters are, or like like being able to hold your own, right? Because in a lot of these manga, there's this idea of like the protagonist is always constantly going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, right, and grow to these new heights. That's the expectation, at least. And so what about the other characters that can't do that, where like it just narratively wouldn't make sense for them to continue to like grow in those ways? And like, yeah, we want to see all those characters grow, but even here we can expect that Khan's never going to be able to come close to where Ichigo is, right? So like, what is there for a character like Khan, right? Where is he going to find like the place that he belongs, right? If this is a manga all about battles and all about people that battle, as those battles escalate and become battles between people that are stronger and stronger, what place is there for characters that are weaker, right? And I like, say what you will about Bleach as it continues, but I like that there is at least some thought given to this, because as the cast starts to kind of grow and grow and grow, it becomes harder to kind of balance and do service to all these characters, especially ones that are less powerful or less, like exciting to fans even. And I think that's maybe one of the balancing acts that Bleach tries, and in a lot of ways fails to pull off in some aspects, but is at least admirable the way that it attempts to. And we'll certainly look into a lot of that. But here we get a bit of that with Khan, where already Khan started feeling like he's not treated like an equal part of the cast, and he gets a whole chapter that's his little journey, which is it's interesting. I like that. I like that we're given moments for that, and that even though as much as this chapter is Khan's whole journey, again it serves this larger kind of appeal of bringing us back, grounding us in this world with all these humans and everything, and reminding us of these other characters, right? So of course we get reminded of Orihime, and we get her cheerfulness, we get her breasts, we get Khan being kind of overly sort of maybe perverse, or at the very least idealistic about the sort of connection that he's going to have with Orihime as he gets batted away on a soccer ball. We get reminded of Tatsuki and her connection with Orihime, that she's willing to engage with Orihime's kind of silliness and over the top nature. I like that Khan blames this game born of her subconscious malice. That like maybe Orihime has more kind of going on to her character, which again, I think it's a reminder that there is more going on with Orihime, right? That maybe subconsciously she does have a lot going on. I don't know so much about malice, but the idea that of course Orihime has more kind of figuring there. But we see her really as this powerhouse as she knocks this out of the sky. We get reminded, of course, of some of the women in Ichigo's class, and again, it's interesting because whenever I'm talking about already the idea of like the reductiveness of characters that don't have power, it's really easy to forget the names of these girls. They've all been named before, but even Khan is like girls, and the name of Small Bosomed Rhythm won't stick, because for Khan, it's not about power; it's about the size of their breast. But it's the same sort of arbitrary measure of interest in a character, right? Like, yes, narratively, these characters haven't been that important. I mean, Chizuru, Kunieda, and is it Michiru? Yes, it's Michiru. Um, Even I have difficulty remembering all their names off the top of my head. I can remember Chizuru most of the time, but like, Kunieda and Michiru Ogawa don't come up a lot. You know, this is like maybe the second or third time that we've really seen most of these characters. But it's interesting that here we get them hanging out outside of school. They've got cute like outfits. I really like these different kind of clothes that they're wearing. It's a nice set. I mean, they're just going about their weird Izoken lives or something, you know. But yeah, we get, of course, reminder immediately of Chizuru's character being that she is a incredible flirty lesbian, and that Kunieda is always kind of reading and quiet and off to her own. But we do get a reminder of all these kind of characters and the sort of characters that they are, minor as they may be up to this point. And of course, Khan starts to run away because they make this whole plot to sell him. We get this. I love this great comedic bit. Khan runs away. I love his little like, boop. And Kunieda is like, "You're not gonna go away from me. I run the 100-meter in 12 seconds," and like just starts running after him. I always love whenever you have a more kind of muted character have a moment of kind of comedy like that, and Kubo certainly likes that kind of comedy as well. And I love this reminder, like, are all of Ichigo's friends out of their minds, right? I just want to be loved. We come across Chad, so we're reminded of Chad, of course. He sees Khan running, and then, of course, Chad's an unintentional target. But Chad also loves cute things, so I love that he's chasing Khan down as well. But eventually, Khan runs back to Ichigo's room, noted by the 15, Ichi and Go, those individual little numbers. And passes out, wakes up, and the Karens found him, and Khan finally gets what he was looking for, which is to take a bath with a cute person. Though of course it's more just him getting cleaned. And he's finally found the nourishment he's looking for, but he's codified. He's not treated seriously, right? That's because as much as he wanted to be taken care of and nurtured for, he also wants to be taken serious. He's like a cool guy. He's got the soul of a wolf, right? So, immediately kind of put in this dress and these doll clothes. So aside these monstrous figures, we get more reminder of, Ichigo's younger sister. I love that she calls him Bostov. Sticks this little like, what is it? Like a little flower on his ear. Excuse me. I had a sneeze. But yeah, Ichigo shows up in his favorite Mob Psycho T-shirt, and we get kind of Khan finally realizing that, like, he's sorry that he ran away, and this has all happened kind of off screen. So of course Ichigo is like, "What?" I love Rukia just kind of popping her head up, be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Um, and we kind of come full circle. So it's, in a lot of ways, while it's, you know, it serves as like this kind of con coming full circle in his journey and realizing that, like, he should stay with those people that, actually probably care about him. They just have a hard time expressing their love, right? Probably. So we get a reminder of those kind of bonds that Khan's starting to form, which is cute. We get a little bit more of his character. But overall, I think the point of this whole chapter, other than, maybe being a glimpse at all these characters that we haven't gotten to see in a while, right? Certainly, I don't think Chad showed up at all in the last volume. Much less, we got Tatsuki and Orihime, but we didn't get the other human girls. Nor did we get much of, although Yuzu and Karen were there, we didn't get a ton of them. We got a little bit of Khan. So, it's to ground us, it's to put us back here, it's to remind us of all these human characters, all these people that Ichigo knows, as well as Khan's relationship to all of them. And to kind of have a bit of levity before we get back into maybe more of the serious business going on in this arc. I love this, very panicked our Yuzu is she's like wondering where Boostoff is the next morning when she wakes up. Clearly Khan ran away while she was asleep, I suppose. But yeah, it's cute stuff. Overall, like I said, I think the art in this is actually pretty clean. We get a lot of the definitive kind of looks that these characters have grown to have after 3 volumes. Excuse me. I'm gonna have a little bit more of that. Anyway, but yeah, that's like I said, I as far as chapters go, obviously not my first choice, not where I'd say, oh man, where should we go? Right after everything in volume 3. But like I said, I it's the sort of thing where if you were reading this weekly, maybe this might be frustrating to you that you're just kind of getting this what could feel like a filler chapter, right? You always hear that from people where, like, whenever they're reading something weekly, if it doesn't have to do with the immediate like major plot, they feel upset that, like, oh, we wasted this week on stuff that's insignificant. But whenever you look at this as in the larger whole, and kind of making these larger narrative pieces and writing for the collected format, this takes on the whole sense that, if you just finish volume 3 and you're going to volume 4, this is a breather, this is a palate cleanser, this is a reminder of these characters in this setting, right? So I think all of that works. I think the smallest thing is, like, yeah, maybe there could be some mention of a hollow, or there's mention of Soul Society, but there isn't really mention of doing battle with hollows. But assumably, this is the manga where they fight hollows if you just came off of the last chapter, right, or the last volume. So yeah, this is kind of a moment of, like I said, levity, a breather. And I think it works. I think it's effective for doing all of that. It's the whole chapter's just dedicated to giving us a short pause before we get into this entire arc of this new volume, which goes into a bunch of interesting places. So let's talk about the places that goes. Let's talk about spoilers. So if you're not into spoilers, this is the time to go. Um, ooh, ooh, yeah. Are they all gone? Cool. Let's begin. Not a lot to connect. not a ton here. Maybe there's some stuff that I haven't really noticed or seen, but I talk about, like, the idea of, like, lesser characters kind of still holding their place, and it's interesting that almost all of the characters that Khan comes across also fill in those sorts of shoes, right? So not only is Khan sort of seen as, like, more of a minor character, right? Despite feeling like, yeah, aren't I as good as they are? Aren't I a part of the crew, right? Um, so maybe this is a bit of foreshadowing towards that, even. But the other big thing is we get reminded. I'm pretty sure it's in this volume that we start to get these other characters, especially Orihime and Chad, developing their own spiritual powers. So we get reminded of those characters, Orihime here, right? First, we see her, not just, obviously, Khan's focused on something different, but the clear idea is the hairpin's going to be pretty significant. So we get that. as well as her, like, batting this ball away. But obviously the focus is on Orihime there. We get these other girls, of course. You know, I completely forgot about the character of Ryo Kunieda, but she's actually my favorite out of this trio. It's easy to remember Chizuru because of her personality, and I think she shows up even more in the filler kind of stuff in the anime, but not so much the other girls. Like that we get a little bit of Chad here, but the reminder that we get of Chad is just that he loves cute things. But again, I think this is all just serving to kind of remind us of these other human protagonists that are going to show in this volume and make a bigger kind of. They're going to have a little bit more going on. At least I'm pretty sure it's this volume that we start to get those sort of character developmental bits for the other humans. Obviously, we get Ishida and the whole Quincy Archer hates you and the hunt with Aminos, which I think we get that, and we get the stuff with Dankanoji, I think, first, if anything. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we have time for those or if they'll show up in Volume 5. But clearly a reminder of those other two characters that are going to be developing their powers. But also, in the same light as Khan, are these, like, even though they're a part of the group and they're all that, they don't necessarily end up feeling like they belong as much as the series progresses because of how much the kind of power scaling ends up just shooting up. And so I think both Orihime and Chad also kind of go through that sort of arc where they're like, how can I stand alongside Ichigo? How can I continue to be his comrade and be the person that stands, in support of him, um, and then kind of reconciling it's okay to be maybe not as powerful, right? But yeah, otherwise, I don't know that there's interesting that there's the whole thing of like constantly looking for these kind of maternal figures, um, figuratively as well as ones that are very full bodied, and then eventually would come find the Squad Zero lady who's responsible for Mod Souls, right? Whose name is completely eluding me at this moment, so I'm not going to remember it. But it's interesting that, like, that also gets predicated with a bath, which whenever they go into the Squad Zero, whole setup there, they also have to go through the baths to reinvigorate. So it's interesting that there's a little bit of that there. I don't think Kubo was thinking about Squad Zero stuff this early on, but at the very least, those things started coming back up for Khan, as well as this reimagining of him. Obviously, he's imagined much cuter here, and he's given his iconic hairpin here. But his little flower, which would stick with him for a while. But yeah, I mean, like, while there's not a lot really going on in this chapter, maybe not a lot of huge connections to draw otherwise. It's still a solid chapter. Still, I think, good stuff, right? If there's other connections that you're seeing here, maybe, like, obviously there's maybe some connection in the way in which Ruki and Ichigo show their affection for others, right? Certainly. The idea that they're probably repressed, almost certainly repressed and expressing their love. Because that's kind of constant thing for Ichigo. Like, he never really expresses his sentiments and feelings for others as much as he maybe should. And the same maybe even goes for Rukia, right? So, it's interesting that we have those sorts of character insights coming from Khan. But, yeah, there's other kind of things that you want to draw, any other sort of connections that you see here, kind of going on in this chapter, because it is a pretty light and breezy sort of chapter, meant for a bit of, like I said before, levity. It's just kind of fun. But if you do see some of those other big connections, feel free to let me know in the comments. And always, if you're talking about something with spoilers, just make sure to indicate that as well whenever you make your comments. But yeah, that'll be it for this chapter. I'm interested to get into Volume 4 of Bleach. Quincy Archer hates you. Yeah, it's some neat stuff goes down in this volume, worth revisiting. So, As always, this has been Karakura Gold with Bleach Revisited. Thank you so much for watching the entirety of the video. If you want to support the video or this channel, as always, any amount of engagement helps. But if you want to go one step further, I do have the Twitter and the Patreon in the description. You can support there however you feel comfortable. As always, this has been Karakura Gold. Never forget, spirits are forever with you. Stay gold.